Minister, we're into day 11 of a scandal which Minister Shatter has been at the epicentre of. First, we had the alleged booking of the GSOC offices. We've had the rubbishing of those claims as baseless innuendo by the Minister Shatter. We've had him mislead the Dáil last Tuesday in relation to the report that he got from GSOC. And now we have in the public domain, because of documents that have now gone to the Taoiseach's office, new information which is new to the Taoiseach but not new to Minister Alan Shatter, which was that a whistleblower within the Gardaí has used every opportunity to bring to the attention of the appropriate authorities misconduct, malpractice, destruction of documents within the Garda Síochána, of serious abuses which led up to the highest level of murder. Now, you say that the Taoiseach is looking at the letter that he received yesterday, but do you acknowledge that Minister Alan Shatter received this complaint in 2012? Can you acknowledge to this House that Minister Shatter spoke to the Commissioner and furnished a 3-letter response to the confidential recipient, Mr Connolly? Now, Mr Connolly is the only head that is rolled in relation to this scandal. And there's questions now asking why was it Mr Connolly's head that rolled in the GSOC bugging controversy, and the fact that the whistleblowers were rubbish, the penalty points debacle, the whole issue around the cover-up and alleged malpractice within the Gardaí. Why is it Mr Connolly's head that rolled? Well, it became clear from your Justice spokesperson today in Morning Ireland that it is because he made derogatory or comments in relation to Minister Shatter. And I think that goes to the crux of the matter. It's about protecting Minister Shatter at all costs, protecting the Commissioner at all costs. Forget about the alleged bugging of GSOC. Forget about the fact that a whistleblower has tried to bring this evidence into the public domain to the proper authorities for many, many years. Forget about that. But Mr Connolly, who made comments in relation to Mr Shatter, head needed to roll. But let's look at the comments that he made. Some of them have been made on the public record.
Your time is up, but you put your questions. Thank you.
So he has said that the Commissioner has made a serious error of judgment, and he did know or should have known about the malpractice. He also goes on to suggest that the Commissioner should stand aside. He also said that I think the Commissioner has a case to answer. I think you have evidence that destroyed you. A man has only got his reputation. You were just standing up for what is right, if you ask me. Can I ask you, Minister, what is appropriate now to do as a result of the shattering of confidence in sections of the Garda Síochána right up to the level of Commissioner is not for the Taoiseach to start studying these documents, but to immediately set up an independent commission of investigation to find out what happened, because your Minister, unfortunately, is in the dock because he did not respond appropriately to these allegations in 2012.
Minister,
well, obviously you failed to notice that yesterday the government appointed an independent inquiry under one of the most highly regarded retired judges in the country, with the terms of reference drawn up by the Attorney General for the government, drawn up on the advice of the Attorney General by the government. Sorry. And if what you are interested in, so you claim, is having a functioning Gardaí which protects the security of the state and of the people of the state, and importantly is oversighted by an Ombudsman Commission which can carry out its job, well, the government has just commissioned such an independent inquiry to be carried out. Now, if you want to, as it were, as you're suggesting, rubbish the establishment of an independent inquiry under one of the most respected retired judges in the state, I mean, that's for Sinn Féin and Fianna Fáil to do. I think you are wrong, because the important issue for the state, both for Fianna Fáil and for Sinn Féin, ought to be that we have a Garda Síochána which functions with the full support and confidence of the public, because the Garda Síochána are the people who put their lives in danger every day for our citizens, and you should show some concern that the Garda Síochána should be fully supported in the state, and secondly, that the Garda Síochána should be properly oversighted by the Ombudsman's Commission. And that is precisely and exactly what the government has set out to do, having given an independent power of inquiry, as I said, to one of the most respected retired judges in the state. What you are saying now, and I want to say to Sinn Féin, and I want to say to the other opposition deputies, if at this point in time you have more material. Deputy Martin, I understand, met the Garda whistleblower last weekend, maybe 5 days ago. He chose to send the material last night to the Taoiseach. You may have in Sinn Féin more material. Can I just say, in the interest... Sorry, please. This is not about politicking. This is about having a Garda Síochána which commands the respect of every citizen and the support of every citizen and every party, and it's also about having a proper oversight commission of the Gardaí, and that's what we set out to do.
Thank you.
Last night, the Minister for Justice went into the committee and addressed the committee, I understand, for about 4 hours. The opposition and Sinn Féin now seem to have some problem about the Taoiseach taking time to have a look at documents. That actually is the correct response. You're just, I don't want to suggest that you would make a political football out of something as important as the Garda Síochána and the Ombudsman's Commission, but a very important and appropriate mechanism has been established. It's to report back within a relatively short period of time, and that's the proper way to do it.
Thank you. Sorry. You can't raise a point of order during leaders' questions. No, sorry, you can't do it. Deputy Pearse Doherty. You can't do it under leaders' questions.
I want to draw your attention to a very serious and unacceptable remark which was made in this House by Deputy John Halligan.
I didn't hear anything, so I'm sorry.
Which was made yesterday by Deputy Finian McGrath, who cast a slur on a member of the judiciary. And I'm calling on you, Ceann Comhairle, to have the deputy withdraw that remark.
Sorry. Deputy Pearse Doherty. Sorry, Deputy, I'm trying to manage a session here, and I don't hear what was said. I can't. Well, I can't hear.
If you haven't, if you haven't heard what has been said, Ceann Comhairle, I'm asking you to check with the clerk. A very serious and unacceptable remark was made, not for the first time.
Sorry, would you please? Would you please?
John Halligan, and earlier
please resume your seat. Please proceed, Deputy.
You must have heavy about your I think it would be appropriate for people.
Please, put your question. I will check the record.
I think I'm sure there will be plenty of opportunities for people to collect the record, including Minister Shatter, who made a complete and inappropriate slur against the whistleblower back in October, and has still failed to correct the public record. Can I say to you, Minister, that you should be informed that the inquiry or the review that was set up has nothing at all got to do with the confidential recipient or the transcript of that conversation, or indeed the file that the Taoiseach has. I am sure that you're aware of that. If you're not, you need to make yourself aware of it. I'm sure what you're trying to do is to confuse the public, if you can do that, to say that you're dealing with this appropriately. The point is, you ask us for additional information. We have no more additional information than is in the public record. But you should ask the Minister for Justice, because in 2012 he received a document which showed widespread abuse in small sections of the Gardaí in relation to various serious matters. He failed to investigate them in appropriate level.
Sorry,
he said
would you please put your supplementary?
the person who had the full information, the confidential recipient, said that the Commissioner should be asked to stand aside. He has a vested interest. He said to stand aside during the investigation as he's investigated it himself again. Now, what is required is for public confidence in the Gardaí at all levels, and what is required is for an independent commission of investigation. This government cannot hide from this issue. It is not a new issue. It is something that has been presented to Minister Shatter 2 years ago. And can I ask you why you deem it appropriate, after all of the allegations of corruption of material, of destruction of material, of cover-up, of malpractice, of cases gone that haven't been investigated up to the level of murder, of alleged bugging within GSOC, of inappropriate comments or misleading comments given to the Dáil, that the only person that is held accountable in all of this scandal over the last 11 days is the confidential recipient who, as Charlie Flanagan put it, the reason he had to go is because he made comments that were inappropriate against Minister Alan Shatter.
Thank you.
Do you think that there should be, given the gravity of these allegations, that there needs to be an independent commission of investigation, that the Taoiseach is not an appropriate person to investigate his own minister's conduct into this matter?
Minister, without interruption, please. Thank you. Sorry, would you...
If I may say so, that's an extremely confused contribution. Because to start with, extremely confused.
Would you mind?
You have thrown out a whole series of events and happenings over a protracted period of time, and you've asked at the end of it for a commission of inquiry. I just want to draw your attention, in case you missed the news yesterday, and I want to just draw your attention to what the announcement was. That the government has appointed the High Court judge, Mr. John Cook, to conduct.
Please allow a response to your question. Deputy Doherty, please. Would you please?
The government has appointed Mr. Cook to conduct the independent inquiry. Right? The independent inquiry, and the terms of reference for the inquiry were agreed by the government on the advice of the Attorney-General, and the judge has agreed to the terms of reference and was consulted on the terms of reference. Now, if you want... Sorry, hold on. In terms of the Dáil and in terms of the opposition parties, I think there is a level of common agreement across the House as to what we want. We want a Garda Síochána which can carry out its duties of protecting the people of the state and enjoy the confidence of the public. I know that view isn't shared by everybody in this House, but that's a priority in any democracy. Secondly, the independent oversight of the Garda Commission is absolutely, the Ombudsman Commission is absolutely important. And the matters that you referred to, where you were making comments from transcripts that were in the public media about discussions that various people had, in terms of all of the material documentation and the power of the retired judge to hear evidence and to call people and to talk and speak to people involved, all of that is covered by what you have just laid out. So why do you then want another independent inquiry? Can you not let the judge proceed with his work?
Would you please resume your seat? We're 6.5 minutes over time. Deputy Healy, thank you. Sorry, would you resume your seat? Resume your seat. There is no point of order on leaders' questions. Resume your seat. Deputy Healy, thank you. Would you resume your seat, Deputy?
You actually have no confidence.
Deputy, don't resume your seat. I'm going to suspend the sitting. I'll suspend the sitting if you don't resume your seat. I'll suspend the sitting if you don't resume your seat. Do you hear me? Deputy, would you respect the chair? You're a chairman yourself. You just need... Deputy! Now, Deputy, you'll find yourself out of this chamber. You're a chairman of a committee yourself, and you know that you respect the chair. Now, if I stand up in future, sit down. And I won't tell you a second time. Now, Deputy Healy, and that applies to all of you. I'm sick of what's going on here today.